Hello, 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 everyone. Wherever on a day, worldwide. This is Mohammed Shilan coming to you from North Carolina. My co-host, Mr. Victor Mengot. Uh, we're going to come to you from the county of Surrey, Surry, not to Sorry. So from England, this is now Sunday, November 5th, 2023. Wherever on a day in the world, as we now understand, say this show is particularly with the talk Creole, mostly because it's particularly geared or directed at with people in back home in Australia and with people meaning the whole country. So, and we get with basic rule of engagement, which is very simple. That is, you can call in. We get various medium then by which you can reach we or make some contribution. We welcome mostly ideas either by way of asking questions or sending in written comments or commentaries then. Then the ways then those are welcome. The other part of the rule of engagement is that we maintain mutual respect for both callers and the host and to fellow callers, actually. So if somebody called before you and he says something where you disagree with, you can respectfully disagree with and state your own position if you want. You can say you disagree or you can state your reason why. It doesn't have to be disrespectful to the other person or condescending, meaning talking down to the person. So we try our best for keep the standard up. And but you're free to say what you really feel for sale. So usually we get a lot of a few numbers where say when I can able reach we telephone numbers them. I can like to remind everyone with the post them number here on our screen. If you watch television, if you watch we from television, if you watch it from your telephone screen or your computer screen, will get certain numbers then posted. If you're in North America, we include the United States, Canada, and Mexico. There is a toll-free number. And for people who are probably abroad, where they back home, also toll-free. Some might know what it means, some might not know. Toll-free, now where you go call, you not get for, because this show, they go worldwide. They go beyond country, then boundaries. So sometimes, if you know the call, now WhatsApp, when you make a call, sometimes it will cost you. So toll-free, now if you're there within North America, you can use the toll-free line and you'll be able to reach winner 866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. If you're there in the United Kingdom, England, sort of, you can call and get a local number where you will call from England, it will cost you nothing. And from you will just dial +44 2080891455 +44 2080891455. If you do call from Australia, same applies. You can call where it not will cost you anything, and the number now +61 2909 84337 29. Okay, let me start. +61 2909 84337. And if you call from WhatsApp, where regardless of which country, they North America, we include Mexico, Canada, and the US, or if you call from England, or if you call from Australia, if you go on WhatsApp, WhatsApp is for everybody. If you call from Salone, if you call from any country, Gambia, any country in Africa, you can call the WhatsApp number, which is 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. And last but not least, we get a radio station in Sierra Leone. We'll also try to carry this program. And if you tune in to 91.9 FM in Freetown particularly, and in the eastern part of Freetown, you go get we. Right now, the reception is such, or the width band is such, to cover the whole of Freetown, but you can get we clearer if you're the eastern of Freetown, the eastern part of Freetown. And with time, we'll go expand for the entire area, western area, and Freetown as a whole. So today, let me just make me co-host, introduce himself, then we'll talk about what the topic for today will be. So I pass it over to you, Mr. Mango.
Well, Fambulem, in a good evening, in a good day, wherever you are. It's a brand new day. In the afternoon, if you are on the east coast of America, it's a night time. If you're in the UK, elsewhere, it can be early morning or late midnight. Me, with the Victor Akumengot, calling from Surrey. And Surrey again is Surrey, Surrey, the county of Surrey. And we want joining us today because today we want to look at something where now like we start week we'll talk about transport. But today we are also want to continue for look at transport when they affect we all. Because for each price they change. They say na transport. Petrol price they go up. And when petrol price go up, when they increase transport fares, whether not for goods or for people, increase the price of goods, every goods, even your cookery. In fact, somebody go and say, Ogiri price don't go up. Then they go say, hey, but how Ogiri price because transport go up? He will tell you, say, because for make that Ogiri day, you get forget the benefit. Then go outside and they produce the benefit. From the benefit, you go outside, then they can go to either they can buy them, either they process the Ogiri, and before they sell them to you. So all that and they get transport implication and transport. If we get transport right, we will get the economy right, we will get development right. So now that one talk about. So let I pass you back to today. We get with man, Mr. Shilon, where he want make a very interactive. In are the people's advocates. As usual, is non-partisan, is a wise old man. He will be very inquisitive and incisive for me as a transport man. Because in Africa, they say, when old papa die, we know we shall let die too. He dey force with we. Now I hurry. Now with the loss. So that library they will get, now they can use today for put me under the hot seat for talk about this transport system and with development. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mangot. Well, for when I would listen to we most a lot of the time, or most of the time, or regularly, when I know say Mr. Mangot, expert in many fields. I know they say just somebody who is knowledgeable in many things. He has a certain degree of expertise in parliamentary affairs, in transportation, and a few other things. And I need not mention the fact that he's an engineer by training, so he knows a lot about aviation. He knows a lot about, and a man will consult with international bodies, so he knows what he talk about. So we always try for portray him and try for get as much as we can get from which he don't learn, where people like me feel say we are not really sincerely trying to tap on the knowledge of what people them abroad. Talk is cheap. We always hear, oh, diaspora, the diaspora. Sierra Leone will get certain fanciful words that we can use. The diaspora. Oh, diasporans when I for come home, all these talks. But when you get a diasporan like Mr. Mangot and many other people similarly situated who can make a world of difference in terms of what we want to do for the country as far as the implementation of policies and what will make our country develop. You don't get any government, not this government or a lot of other previous governments, tapping on the talent and knowledge of people like Mr. Mengot. Instead, we will go get people well, first of all, we tap among ourselves because most of the appointments to certain positions, to committees, to boards of trustees, all these are made on friendship basis. You know me, I know you, or relationship on nepotism, that kind of thing. So we're not even tap on the best and the brightest way for, in turn, try for do something for the country. Then in the end, when nothing seems to work, then we, of course, the people that would set the policy, I don't think they are surprised that things, the fruit of we labor sometimes is zero. They are not surprised, but I think sometimes the ordinary people do not seem to know why is this happening to us. And then people then begin to say, oh, God will produce this, but God has given it to us all. We get knowledgeable people there. Now we just not to do things right. A best example I can give, running a government is almost like, I don't have to do a general commentary now. Running a government is just like, what will be small, what will be the play, what you would call bite game. Anybody will know anything about soccer or football? What can they play, na treat, or na then yard or certain place will be big enough for play. You might not be the best player in the neighborhood, but if you get a little change in your pocket, like 2 shilling, 3 shilling, 4 shilling, then can give you the privilege for make you pick a team. So you can bite against another team. And then if when I win, some of the other players then will win, when I can shape that money there, 3 pence, 5 cents, whatever I want to accomplish. Usually, the person where they put the money down, where himself can play soccer, most times it's not the best player. But he gets sense enough for no say, for him for win that bite game day, he get for pick among the best player that where they around, which map they wait for, then they wait for them pick them, but they don't get money for to actually put on the bet or the betting. So now the same thing with the run government. You know, the leader is not necessarily the smartest, intellectually, God-given person with a talent, but if he gets some degree of common sense and some degree of education, it can produce, it can do wonders. It can do wonders, you see? So, well, what you want to do, sorry, gentlemen, we know they try for pick the best and the brightest, like I say, and at the team for run the country. It's a matter of, because money is involved, we just pick anybody for give them an opportunity for putting money in their pockets. At the end of the day, they don't produce anything. Now, our agenda today, our program today, will be based strictly on transportation, the ins and outs. And Mr. Mengot, like I said, an expert on transportation. So we're going to talk about transportation. And we know say transportation can ease or can make the life of people easy. So then we'll go try for see, because President Bio gets what he call the big five. We will see how transportation or how the big five what the president announced in terms of the economic and developmental goal or development goal for the country, how transportation fits into almost every one of them big five than the way name. So that said, I think we'll probably go through the one by stages. So what we'll do down there, we go try for see how much we go able to elaborate on things. So now the president in Big Five, he talk about forfeit the country, forfeit the country. Well, forfeit the country means many things. So me no want elaborate on that, but me can just make a general statement for say, feed the country from we all understanding. Now for be able to produce enough food, but productivity get for go with affordability. It like we produce all the food in the world. If people don't really make money, they cannot afford it, no matter how much you sell them. So then big 5 year where the president talk about, they might sound easy in terms of just naming them, but they are all interconnected. So now this production of feed salon, I would like for let Mr. Mengot explain to we. Number one, in your interpretation of that phrase there, the feeding of salon, and how does that have, or transportation, what is the connection between transportation and the act or the ability for feed salon? So, Mr. Mengot, this, from my perspective, is just in a nutshell. So, can you just detail and for Wheeler, we see how they connect?
Okay, Mr. Shillon, before you go there, let's go back in what you talk. You talk about, you give this analogy. I will say, you give this this description, but the man will get the money for bite game and the player. Right? So, and
Yes,
this
sir.
week, transportation, it feature a lot in we agenda because a weekly review. So the Minister of Transport, he been very, very busy, been able to work. But for put her in context, if we technical team can just show we waiting the minister say, because the minister saying a plan. Let's start with the plan. How they make the plan, how we fit into the plan, waiting the plan mean. Then from that plan day, we go. So on the 4th of November, the Minister of Transport and Aviation, the Honorable Colonel retired Fande Toure, he said in commit for transform the transport sector towards a resilient and sustainable transport sector that align with His Excellency President Julius Bio in Big Five agenda, when a game changer, and the medium-term National Development Plan, when a 2023 to 2028. Then he said the Ministry of Transport and Aviation, this plan here we then get, they don't go validate them. And then go validate them. They go validate. Then go look at the various parts and the thing that we did at the plan, right? For make sure say na Bintumani Conference Center, for make sure say it contribute for build with a transport system we go make improve the economy, with social life, with development. So don't start from there. Because when we're getting grand plan here, when you talk about transport, you talk about the plan, you get to talk about the different forms of transport and go on them, who they talk about the Big Five agenda. When that transport system, we get road, we get rail, we get air, we get sea. Not only that, you get to talk about the means of transportation. Whether in a boat, whether in a lorry, whether in a van, whether in a porter where people they care. So how then develop this plan? And waiting this plan for do. We want to talk about now how government for develop them plan here, and the role of other people in a government, whether in a parliament or the people that they support or the one that they use. And they don't get any clear from let family know. Say this plan day. And If we not see the plan yet, waiting we go let this plan for be. So Mr. Shillon, let's start from that side. How they make the plan. And if they say validation, validation means say well, this plan is right for people then. So let's go through that. Then if we agree saying that this one's the plan, now so we for make it right, then hopefully we expect say they go carry this plan go parliament. When they can go parliament, we go see more about what's in the plan they put. Then we will not say, well, the government don't get agenda right and relate them to the big five agenda. Let's start from there. You want to rub much on that before we go to the big five agenda?
The question we go get in terms of rub much on that is when the minister said now the conference would then go na Bintumani, where he said then go validate the plan. That is a loaded phrase because we don't know exactly what the minister mean. Whether it mean then because a lot of times when you validate something, you don't finalize them in essence. That's a practical matter. So we get questions, and we don't want for misunderstand or misinterpret what the minister mean when they say they don't validate. Does it mean they don't reach the final step with that whatever plan there is that has been validated? That's it. It doesn't go anymore to parliament, or is that just the beginning of the cabinet, the president and his own group, where they don't make a final validation of what they want for present to parliament? Well, from we are understanding, validation not for come about until the whole process has gone through parliament, and then, but it could also be the other way around. So we go like we don't know what the minister say, and we don't want to misinterpret Minister Toure, who I'm sure is a lawyer. But so sometimes specificity matters because we try to avoid as much generalities, and vagueness as we can, because the more something is subject to multiple interpretation, the more misunderstanding there is, and then the more justification for maybe intentional or unintentional implementation of policies. So the validation, we want to know what in that mean. Maybe Mr. Mengot might have a different understanding, and maybe can talk about that. But if Mr. Mengot can also elaborate for the parliamentary process for any act or validation of any government policy for it to be implemented as a general body of laws, watching at the parliamentary procedures them, wait them for go through before actual validation come about. So it's a little bit confusing, or normally we could say it's a little murky, but maybe Mr. Mangold can help for fix some for we, and then attach this policy what we try to talk about, modernizing, restructuring, uplifting with transportation system in all the various forms, whether not by rail, which we don't have anymore, whether not by sea, which still exists at a very low scale, whether not by road, or whether not by air, which is also very almost little or non-existent. But Mr. Mangot, who seems to have expertise in all those means of transportation, we are looking forward for you for elaborate and do the connecting for you. Back to you.
Okay. Now that makes us get this program. Because from what the minister announced, we get waiting and get then called the National Development Plan. Because then at the Ministry of Development Planning at the program. So me feel to say, forgive the minister of the benefit of the doubt, it talk about the game changer. And then where in care go where and go do, now for align the strategic plan to the medium-term national development plan. So because transport now a major part of any development, because the one way they go school, they need transport. The Makituman, they need transport. We produce the way they produce, they need transport. So we dey expect say now where it don't align them to this agenda, and this week where they kind of very important week, because we know say the opposition member of parliament will be refused for go join parliament, then they go and let them go swear them in. So we now get the two big allegos in the parliament. We dey expect the minister for do the right thing now, for carry that plan there, go parliament, let parliament go rub much pan and small. So I think say the best way for to follow the procedure, each ministry get an oversight committee. So we get a committee where they deal with transport and aviation. So we expect the minister for carry this plan, go to that committee there, then look at the plan and the committee making report, then they can debate them na the well of parliament. So we go know, for instance, waiting at this plan. The plan go say, almost go the one develop. Waiting at the cost of the road. If we improve sport, how we go improve them? Because Sierra Leone will get a very good coastline. It go also talk about rail, because we don't talk about rail recently, and this arise. So we expect that. But let's not dwell in that point. Let's go to which you be start first. The president in Big Five agenda. You be asked about the field salon, how sport affects or it go influence or help the president with the Big Five agenda. Now, Creole can say, if you don't know who say you go, no say you come out. Sierra Leone na be agricultural country. So don't care people and go back. The last program we'll get, we don't talk about the train. We will get a railway system where area like Bauvotifunk now been production area whereby people they get them goods, they can't go na then train station. So the train now they bring and can down, because in a salon now, the main consumption area na Freetown, or let's say the western region, when I'm western rural, western urban. We been get key center them where they come Freetown. You get Songo, when a key node na the railway system, and then Waterloo been there nearby. Now Waterloo don't turn a major market and distribution. We also get Dovecourt, where Dovecourt still there. Now been place where train been there, when they distribute food. Then if we talk by sea, we get Kinjimi, when them boats there when they come out, because then say when they bring her. So if we talk about feed salon, how does transport come in? Now that's one talk about. And how we go improve, because we get small scale farmers them. If we want get big agricultural farmers them, we get for look who side them farm here locate. Right? Then how we go link the farm them. So first of all, we don't produce if not for domestic consumption, forget place there like storage facilities them. We go then and then big tongue them. So you get for look after transport, government get for invest and feeder roads, the road system, and we know the local government then get responsibility for improve feeder roads. So we get for look at roads them for the farm. When they link the farm to the distribution center, let's say let's take like Gari now. Let's use let's look like let's take like Gari. Gari now, very important product. And both famous for the Gari. But if you want to make Gari, right? First of all, you get for plants the cassava. And the cassava, the farm the way they plant them, you get for get large scale production. And from where you don't produce the cassava, you get for transport the cassava now to outside and they can process them for make Gari. So the cost of transportation, they affect that process there. Then when they don't produce the Gari, you get for going to the distribution center then, whether in a small distribution center, in a market, or who side they package them, because we get people now where they package Gary. And then you get what think, but say who side they need Gary, not so no more. Then go need an a Makeni, then go need an a Kailaun, then go need an a Kenema, then go need an a Friton. How you get the transport system for care and go to then different places than they to the market? Or you go get the market to when a Gary they sell. Where we get for buy that Gary by bag. Right? So you get for know how they go buy that Gary they if not apply they go. Either they buy them directly or they buy them from a middleman and can sell them by cup. So now the issue of transportation in terms of the feed salon project, production, transportation, distribution, marketing, and access. So we link transportation and the feed salon project. But before I go, Mr. Shillon, this is a record. We not go find prompt. So you give that prompt there for Wisa. Mr. Shillon, right. We get one call on the line.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mango. Hello, caller. What you know your name? Who's you to call from? Yeah, I also want other prospective callers who know say the lines are open. So please feel free to call anytime. But caller, go ahead. State your question, or you.
Hello, viewers. This na Umar. They call Umar from Switzerland.
Okay, Umar. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, thank you for the program. We always look forward to this program because it's a very progressive topic. We know, say, transportation are one of the key when it in terms of the feed salon project. But then, now, Mr. Shillon, you go agree with me, say, Sierra Leone is not short of food when it in terms agriculturally. Where it in terms of agriculture, we get enough food. But the problem with the waste food, why I say so, I've been the run. I remember that like 2007, I visit a village between Kalau and Buyedu, one small village 4 miles from Buyedu, then called Dudu. The road very bad. That mango, orange, then the rep na the stick, left na the stick, for down a ground rotting. Nobody know it because if you take mango at that time or orange at that time for reach to an akenema, it will cost almost 2 to 3 days. And the know that thing again, when the farmers know able come with the produce in the market and they no get for sell for store, how then go will revive that product again, forget another product where the people go able to receive at the urban areas. Why are they say so? For your instance, when you go to a supermarket, if the supermarket sell them done, then they send them at the supermarket in restaurant. If the supermarket in restaurant use the food, they know will finish them. They either they make them so easy to go, or then they preserve the food. If na mango, for instance, then they make and dry mango, packet and sell it again to the people. So now most of the mechanisms them will forget. If the mango no able reach the market, the fresh one, how then go make way, it go still reach the market and the people go get benefit out of them. Why as so we get then we need some small units, business units them, we go at least go come for try for let we get if not dry mango. Let we get the mechanism for dry with your mangoes, we dry with your guavas, we dry with your any other fruit we get, and we able to packet them and sell them, and the people eat them and relax and enjoy them. I feel saying that's not the problem. We the waste food, we get food, but we not sabi manage them. And if we're not able to recycle with food, no matter what we do, the feed salon project, it will end up a well. Because if the mango come, you go to Dove Court, you see mango. After 2-3 days, it don't rot. What they put on a bush? They put on a dirty box because they're not able to process the mango, forget another product out of it. I feel say try for recycle with food and make sure say we will preserve them to your best interest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Umar. Thank you. So what you say so to a large extent, Not true. I am not so much of the opinion that with the spoiled food as a people, of course, we get less ways to preserve them, food that can be converted to other use. I mean, for eat, but for make another set of product. So we can eat them, not for just get mango, like you say, we can dry them. But I think, say, with people themselves, they're very creative. The point at issue has been the lopsidedness of how we system is structured. We get too many bookman who really are putting very little into the system in terms of intellectual ability for educate the rest of the public so we can produce more, we can learn more. I mean your opinion that one day. So we get this lopsidedness of too much bookman where they produce very little. Now too many certificates on the wall, but very little in terms of productivity. Because then in the way they talk about so, that's why we get ministries. That's why we get Ministry of Agriculture, not only for plant, but now for how for process, how for harvest, and how to do a whole lot of other things with food to avoid waste. But with lack of skill, but let me stop there. Let me take another call because I don't want somebody for the whole too long. I will get back to that. Mr. Mango himself will get back to that. We even get people already sending comments we'll go read. Like somebody say, looking back over the years, I've heard both parties promise to bring back the legendary railway network, but nothing has happened. Is it just a dream? Well, nothing has happened. That shouldn't even be a dream because we once had it. So I think the reality on the ground is that at some point in time, a serious government will start talking about a national railroad of some sort. But let me answer this caller. Hello, caller. What's your name? Sorry to call from.
Yes, yes, good evening again from Leicester. Fudi Mustafa here.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you
Mustafa.
very
Welcome.
much. Yes, thank you very much, guys. Uh, because first of all, I hear you like say when I talk about 2028 midterm development plan. I wonder we go back a little bit. The last time where the president be get, he say he be get 2023 midterm development plan. Why can't we evaluate that one first? Because it look like say we not just passenger there. Wetin dem tell we just dey go with them. Now evaluate first. Wetin come on at that other one. Because everybody saying we don't have a development plan. There's no development plan. Then we talk about that 2023 midterm. What is the result? The result is that we have had more loans with no capital loan until on that 1.5 billion to 2 billion we will take. So what in that development will don't take place now on that 2023 before ever we talk about the next one? Because all we know see most of these things are just slogans. Because I'm saying this because he go tell me say feed salon, but he not go tell me how. Because me no say you not get the money. Try for confusion about what is different from this. Because if even the 10% what they say then they put on agriculture, that 10% not about almost I mean $60 million per year. So what is $60 million they do? Because most of all imagine see we then cost 60 million, all the salary they inside you. So imagine the people who they don't employ. Only the minister of political affairs don't tell we say he employed 238 people by own ministry. When I'm not say that minister not get woko, Minister of Political Affairs. If you say get 238, he don't come out for tell we how many people they employ. So if you check those people, most of the budget is going to for pay them. So now let we not just be carried away by another slogan, fit alone. Because at the end of the day, we know say the money not there. Because 60 million, when at 10% of the around 10% of the budget, when they say if they remove the salary them, what it could be the investment in agriculture. Because as I always dey say, everything about politics, like how Mr. Kago now making program, now about improving lives of people, where they get for do with economics. You know, we just dey make slogans, they make parade, nothing will happen. Now just quickly just give una an update why I don't know if not true. You know, so we dey talk about the rail, and then we been talk say any railway no get expansion clause on her, not to better thing because the railway dey e no get no side for lead to. Let's say I read today say they launch the expansion of the rail. I don't know if we not get that news day. So at least now good news. Even though normally all around Europe, the country them who we dey so now the national government that they invest on the rail. But unfortunately, Salon, we own government not able to invest past people and come they can do it for we at a very huge cost and maybe they go hold on for the next 100 years or I don't know how long they go hold on. But I really like say then talk about the rail expansion, but I don't know exactly what they not say because me where I was want to talk, I don't listen. Now I be see the talk, so just switch off me phone. So I don't and that I want first touch on first. Good evening.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. La respond to one thing we said about the midterm economic development plan, midterm national development plan. Yes, indeed, when the president came, he came to power in 2018. So now midterm development plan now be 5 year. When at 2018 to 2023. Okay, as you rightfully say, Crusader married with the switch, now the bachelor's if you go know. We first start for review, waiting be don't do, we be not do. Now the priority the way them is set, now that national development plan day, we then call a midterm. For all I know, the one we then get now, we then say from 2023 to 2028 is like an extension of the previous one. So now double midterm we get. So we go need clarification from the government from that. And let us see the one we've been planned 2018 to 2023. Waiting now the thing that will be say, the government may say then go do. And waiting now the thing the way they not do it. And waiting they go do differently. That's why we're doing this program. Because I feel to say the big 5 game changer what they talk about is but an extension of some of the things them where them in the talk about the midterm development plan 2018. But now look at you mentioned how they spend them, how they get a budget. We already the first plan we will go up on the next one on this big 5 agenda if we don't done the fit salon because I'll make some other suggestion how we can improve the transport system. If we take and say from the fact that we are now spending 22% of our annual budget on education. That's the commitment, free quality education. That was the flagship project of the last government. And I'm sure it was central to the National Development Plan. So if you take 22%, don't go pan free quality education, and there's no way they're going to reduce it. Then now they don't say 10% for fit salon, then at 32%, not so. And out of we budget, I'm sure 60% of we budget, they go to paying salaries of staff. Now, all government ministries and department. So if you take 32% and 60%, 2%, it means that we only get 8% other areas them for the economy, including health, including infrastructure development, pay back the loan they hold on. So now the critical question and on the left and so let's see if Mr. Shilon get other issue the way we raise on this relationship between the feed salon project and transportation before we go to the next one at the Big Five agenda, when that big word again, human capital development. Over to you, Mr. Shiller.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mangot. Yeah, I mean, I think so we will be able to cover all the subtopics then concerning this transportation, how we dovetail into the Big Five. We don't have to spend too much time on the feed salon issue because, but like you don't mention to we, there is a lot of infrastructural work with the government for engaging for be able to meet the goal, if at all. Like when we talk about feed salon, we talk about production, distribution, movement of product from point A to point B, which includes transportation. We'll talk about marketing. There are so many things involved. So a lot of times it would be good if the government can just give us some basic understanding as to what plans are afoot, which kind of plans they don't get, we then go embark on, we then think say, go lead the country to the goals we then set. Because Englishman or American man say talk is cheap. And one thing we are good at, Sierra Leoneans, I've noticed, governments particularly, they get some of the most attractive and fanciful phrases, in terms of the goals and aspiration of the government in power. But when it comes to actual performance, the rhetoric, where of course again from the English side, rhetoric, we will call it rhetoric, match the actions. So what did happen? We back home, we can talk the talk, but we never seem to walk the walk. So we want for where we begin for March, the talking and the walking, since they go together, let us see say what you say you mean and what you mean you the same. Not to for just say something where say you have no intention, not that you don't have the ability to implement or accomplish what you say, you just don't have the level of seriousness and commitment, which I think is part of a problem. The level of seriousness and commitment for be able to achieve what we say, what we know say good for the country, but we're not committed to doing what has to be done to get things on the right side. So, the problems are so immense or they're so beaucoup that not always we will talk about, we will get too very much in detail, because there's always we can get bogged down on just one topic, alone, because like what Mr. Mustafa said just now, when you talk in terms of accessibility, transportation, and the ability of the producers, such as the farmers, who don't have, there's so many things interwoven. The farmer needs money, he needs material, and just sometimes farmer also need labor, because sometimes some of we productions them or we produce them, they are labor intensive. But where is the farmer going to get the money to be able to hire the amount of labor he or she needs to be able to produce? So in produce go be taken to market. And if accessibility to the location of where the produce is being produced is limited, that also, like you say, by the time you really harvest whatever that produce there is, it does spoil. We'll go for thinking in terms of spoilage. So that produce there not good anymore. And so now what Mr. Mustafa say makes so much sense. because of we limited ability for be able for deal with things such as spoilage of food, we therefore begin for introduce to we people them new ways for mass produce and mass market something we get time the lifeline of a product will get a very short lifeline, you know. So Mr. Mustafa talked about how I believe it was Umar. We say sometimes if the mango and the mango is spoiled, we can able for convert them into another form that will be still be edible and sellable and all that kind of thing. So that said, I think I don't want to belabor the point. Um, anyone, and of course, would it get some of the written comments they would get? There's so much pessimism, meaning people as they don't give up any hope that the country can ever be turned around. But what I keep reminding people, because all the comments they would get so far, would are reading at the screen, people are saying, Sierra Leone, without the talk, for do this, forget train, forget that. But what I want to remind people them, yes, talk is cheap, but this is the country that was once the center of attraction. This is the country that was once the center of gravity for education, for economics, not the region. So if we've achieved it once, we can achieve them again, the status and the stature. The only thing that is holding us down, some of this greatness will be get in the past, now we'll be getting white people then they rule we, and then we get strict, enforceable structure in place. You know, from police to army to schooling to the civil service, everything was strictly dealt with. What we have done now, we have to shoot ourselves in the foot. When we get self-control, we lost a sense of direction because we get this enormous power. We will not be no say, na power where you get for use wisely. It take wisdom. The power which man give you, it take wisdom. So now that wisdom they will be lack. So when we think say we can run things, we wouldn't give it get too heavy for we just go or run the system right into the ditch. And getting it out of the ditch has been the problem. So we've just been back still at the ditch, getting worse and worse, digging ourselves, trying to get out of there, but we dig deeper. That said, I want to take a call, but let me just read a comment. Somebody said, like, at the trouble pessimism. For God's sake, let's bring in diasporans, especially those of African descent, together with non-diasporans in bringing investment into Sierra Leone because our government lacks financial clout. Yeah, we'll keep talking about investment, but I'll comment on that. Let me not keep a caller holding too long. We'll get to that. Or some of the things that way they affect investments in our country. Hello, caller. What's your name? Which side you call from?
Yes, Nami again.
Okay.
I read Mr. Mengo talk about the debts and you know about budget, about wages. So Mr. said we struggled before with that concept, but I don't get them right. So now I just want to explain them. So we didn't talk about 60% of the wages. That means say if they say a particular ministry get 23%, like 22% of the education budget, that means if they get 50,000 teachers, for instance, just multiply them by all the 50,000, how much they get, you will not say that 23%, most of in they go to the wages. I've been struggled before because Mr. David asked a question before. If they say 60% now wages, 22% now debt servicing, that means that 18% are not left for investment in the people. So I'm not been get them, but later now I get them because I can't get them. Now we didn't talk about the last budget, then talk about the tourism industry. And now they then can't expose everything. The tourism ministry say, oh, the salary. Now that I get them right. So where they talk say 23% of the teachers of the education, all the teachers them then they pay them from that amount. So now make if you check, even the books they would be promised for buy, and the school bag them. Now other people will buy for them towards the end of last year. They spend about $600,000 for help them buy some books and bags for kids them. I think I don't know now from Kabbalah, those area, the most deprived areas for can give them books. So now this I want to clarify. Most of the money when they talk about in those ministries now for salaries. So the 60% it they inside the allocation. So now make we just get them globally 18% only now you will get for invest in the people where now left. Plus now anything will come out from aid that then puts in this for development. So if you find out now make no able to develop anything because there is no money. All the money we will get for pay salaries. So maybe if I'm going to get this, I make a say like call back because I really talk about this and me say we don't struggle before for understand them. If I don't get them, I just want for everybody to understand and say that 60% plus the 22% of the board, the debt service in there, the money all day inside there. So if they say 10%, now then they pay. If they say 5%, now then they pay. So now that time I want to add. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much for the. We appreciate your contribution always. Mr. Menget, let me let you deal with that.
Okay. I wouldn't want to call. I'm very happy for some of the things we say. And as you say, we dey talk about the big five agenda, right?
Yeah.
Now the one number we don't because we don't talk about. We get the other four we'll get for talk about. So say we get people the way they talk about diasporans them for can invest and all the rest of it. But for them for invest, they need that enabling environment. You know, for instance, about that, we court system, a dispute resolution, things for do with legal. If you invest, all that things that they need to be in place. But let not belabor that point. In anything, not too, and in this program, we talk about positive. Let's look at what we get. Let's start for how we will improve transport system based on the current system for distribution and production. And I will talk based on experience in other African countries that were work, like Tanzania, like Kenya, like everything. Now, the main basis of we transport system now road transport. So in other words, whether na coal you want buy, whether you want go buy upline, now road you go get for bring out. Tell you what's in the happen. When I do some review of transport system, say you dey tongue, even if you get your goods na Wataki, but you need then thing and they na Kenema. When then they charge you, right? They charge you in terms of the cost of moving then goods then they from Freetown to Kenema and back. Because the man where they carry your goods go, you know they get a return load. You understand? There's no guarantee of return load. So it makes transport very expensive. In other countries, how do they do it? Like Sierra Leone now, we get a group we call Indigenous Transport Owners Association. These are people that we own transport them, then lorry them, the one the way they transport goods. What they can do with modern technology, what the other country they do, they can get like a system. Use modern technology, SMS, internet. So you know all the vehicles the way they come on like Freetown go Bo at any time. So people and they now way sometimes want move goods them from Bo to Freetown. So if you get that system, the way you know how the vehicle then they move through that, you can now book a space for vehicle where they go Bo, we go empty for bring you good can Freetown. It just tell like how we get a lot of Wissalon brother the way they pan, you know. The one the way they pan shipping both in England and America, what they go do? Then go a 40, go pay for a 40-foot container. Then you want ship with you 1 barrel, you 2 barrel, or anything. You go pay them for put your goods in that container. Then the whole container can free them. In fact, some of them they do clearing for you. So why we not use that same system there for internal transport? So we get a system like brokers, now good business. So you go know whose vehicle then they go bow, whose one then they go kenema. So if you get even the finished products, right, you go able to transport them, and then they go reduce the cost of transport. Then I one suggestion. The other thing we'll get for look at, now we see transport. For a long time, we get people that way, like Schengen, a place where they do fish. Right? Why we know they exploit with coastals transport them? For they bring food stuff come. Because Sierra Leone is a country that is divided by rivers, north to south. From the Great Skiasis, Little Skiasis, they go down. And each of them places and then we can get inland transport where they go and then coast and they and bring the goods down to Freetown, sea transport. And now then thing and they would expect for then the national strategic plan. Sea transport is very important. We know say even in North America, you take Canada and North America, then they use barge, the Great Lakes. They are very useful in transporting goods. So now my own solution down there, I want give, let's consider down there, but government get for support local business, people them like also, and diaspora and get for invest, but I'll come back to how diasporans they go invest in the transport system because myself they encourage people them. So now there I want to stop. Unless you want Rob much on that, let's go to the next big 5 agenda.
Yeah, now, the only quick comment I will have to make, no matter which kind of policy we try for, inject into the system or create, without a strong judiciary or legal system, nothing will ever work. Because human beings, nothing peculiar to Australians, by nature, we tend to take undue advantage of each other. That's why we get a legal system. You can't trust from me, you know, and pay me. I will be able to go take you in a court or summon you. And this is another thing will be a topic next time or in the future. Upline, up country, that system they work efficiently, the legal system. So that's another thing also we'll get for talk about because I think say they want to start for tinker with the local judicial system, the any court system. Something that I'm very much objected to because American man say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Unless if they think they can for improve or change the legal system, tell us first and foremost what's wrong with it. But I don't want to go into that. But basically, what Mr. Mengo just named so, without a legal system, no matter how you do it, and a workable legal system, an efficient legal system, a reliable legal system, a trustworthy legal system, you know, a system where we all get confidence in, that no matter how rich, no matter how poor, you can go to court and you can be satisfied with the outcome. Sometimes the outcome not going to necessarily be what you want, but you want to talk about creating a legal system of fairness. So this is what troubles me. When we begin to produce 325 lawyers a year in Sierra Leone, small as we are, that's not a good sign because that's just too many. If we produce 350 doctors or 350 engineers a year or 350 people from apprentice program like electricity, carpentry, masonry, I think the country can move forward. But when we begin to produce 350 lawyers, somebody needs to tell me what kind of meaningful contribution would lawyer already. What are the lawyers' contribution to the system? The system is going from bad to worse. And then now we've decided we're going to start producing 350 every year. Unlike the areas that we need more people, more trained people, more expertise, and, you know, the occupations that we need for foster or booster our country. So all these things are interconnected. But I think there was a caller. Let me go to the caller. Like I say, we can, one topic can keep we going for a long time. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where side you call from?
Hello, Mr. Shilon. This is Omar again.
Okay, sir. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, the part of something I've been just want to make small comment, and from there I ask a question. He talk about the private sector, where he talk about transportation, he talk about brokers. One of the things where a money we make with transport very high in that country. Now, because of the transport sector get a lot of brokers. When the trailer or when the delivery vans load na Freetown, almost they left close to 5 to almost 10 to 15% of the money where they pay that they left and they battleground. Then go buy ticket, you go get 7, 8 people where they come for load that one grey motor car. And where they not load that motor car, that man they entitled for pay them people, and if they not do and believe in me, that man in motor car they go out, then they block them, they fet them sometimes. And that now we problem. And when the driver pay that money, he get for book na road, he get for make, would that they pay that losses? Now the passengers or the people away get the goods. And that they add to the price where they go sell, because nobody need to work up for short. Now, the government, the road transport, then concentrate on transportation. But within that your understanding of transportation, it's only to transport people from one place to another or goods involved. Because all the time the government when they car with now only buses and the car with, and then buses and then only for take people, the ISO then can take a suitcase, and even that suitcase, if every passenger gets suitcase, the bus they're not going to go with the bus. So waiting at the mechanism, the way the government will come to at least let we get government sector where it deliver goods. If we do that, it will be very nice for we as a transportation expert. Waiting at you take on that. In field say the government for concentrate again on deliveries or not only for transport people from one place to another. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Mengo, before you answer that, if you're going to answer it, let me just throw me a little 1 cent. When I was growing up as a young man, when we get the train, we will get what you call passenger trains, we will get goods train. And of course, the goods train carried nothing but products, goods, all from west to east and the surrounding provinces then, because the northern province, the train didn't run through, but you get vehicles that were coming from McKinney, from Aburuka, from Kabbalah, all the way down to Bo and pick up certain things. But there was goods train going across the country. So what you just say makes sense, because it can't just be all about passenger, because the passengers then also the byproduct in the kind of Freetown and Bo or go Kenema, then the byproducts. Some people then go as far as Kwendu, at the border, then they buy American products mostly. We get more American products now, but before, American products were not easily imported into Sierra Leone. Now, by the boundary, they may go buy them. We'll get French products then with the Guineans, I'm sure, then they sell. So we need, and sometimes the buses then get limited capacity, limited space. If you get 10 boxes, they can allow you for put 10 boxes when there are 60 passengers who also have at least one box, some 4, some 5. So that's a point to take into account. But Mr. Mengot is the expert. I'm not so sure he has the time now, but if he can, I would like to hear that too, because I think it's a major issue too with respect to transportation. Back to you, Mr. Mengot.
Let answer Mr. Umar in question, because at times when we use terminology, we get for clarify. Even me as a transport person, I get for make sure so which are they talk the ordinary man they understand. I mentioned brokers. What I mean by brokers, I will explain. What he is talking about, and that is where we transport system get problem. You're talking about the role of the trade unions, the motor drivers union, because now they get the motor parks them when are they both the freight transport and the passenger transport the load. So the motor drivers union, they are a law unto themselves in a way, because now then they not only select whether they load at any particular time, Now they also they charge then transporters and the drivers or transport owners them on a daily basis based on transport for let them load your vehicle. Then of course we get what's here again where they add to the transport cost, where in trade facilitation in West Africa and all over, we call them NTBs, non-trade barriers, non-tariff barriers, sorry. That are the various checkpoints they will get at the road with the different enforcement officers them, where they make them different checkpoints, the way you get for pay, now the different checkpoint added to the toll, all under they add to the transport cost. So what are they talk about? Let us say, what do you mean they talk about? You get the Transport Owners Association. Then can come together. Now then get the people that already provide the transport. Let us talk and say somebody who I will call enablers rather than brokers. So then you go able like use technology, know which goods vehicle they come up from point A to point B, whose capacity gets, what is the transport, and we want let the transporters and they get a return load. Return load through that system, they can book space. Then the man now will share the cost for, because the main cost now fuel and labor cost. Because if you don't go 230 kilometers from Freetown to go distribute, if you don't get a return load, you get for buy fuel for bring that transport back. Now, when I didn't at the base. So what I'm talking about is how for make sure say when they come that vehicle they not empty. Now you talk about government organized. Let's go back. Transport Corporation being formed in 1964. Government been run both passenger and freight transport. Yeah, lorries them. But over the years, the transport sector is 95% private, not to government. It can be 100%, but we'll talk about that later on. So in a way, government now regulates, then get for regulate, and then get for look at in some of the unofficial tax, like the one that where the union and the tax, the one that where the policeman and the tax now road, all that and then get for look into for make free flow of transport not add to the cost. So now that I want to talk about that. But for say government for come back for let them begin provide transport, fine. Remember when I talk about in one program on radio, we'll talk about the post office getting a post bus service in other countries, in Kenya, where that post bus day, in not only transport parcel and letters them, but they transport people them. So there are various innovative ways, but government in the business of running transport. Nowhere in the world has government run transport and provide transport become profitable and serve the needs of the people. Now the private sector will get for development. And a second part of Big Five agenda where you can introduce to we, where we'll talk about that, how we'll do of the human capital development. I mean, I know some of we listeners them, the people that way they comment, they say government let them be big time. And also like people them, a lot of people and they say, oh, this government na scam, na fraud. We don't buy into that idea. Now, yeah, right? Every government get challenges. And we will tell people and let them know they use the market. If you want to contribute positively, but not begin using them time. Because to us, the government, they're not doing on their own. The government and me and you government, whether are they inside salon or are they outside salon and our government. Because if I they outside salon, when I go salon, whatever I get for affects me, even the transport where they take, the poda or the taxi, right? Now government they regulate them. I get for use them. So now that number I get for say over to you, sir. If we can go to the next area.
Yeah, the next topic.
Aspect.
Okay, the next topic. Thank you very much, Mr. Mengot. The next subtopic that we were going to get into in the context of the Big Five was there was what you call the supply chain issue, which means
human capital development.
Oh, okay. Well, the human capital development, I'd even asked the question. Let me see. Okay, I'd asked the question, what does that mean? What does that entail? Um, um, those are nice sounding words, but I think the word capital in the whole, I think if we talk about human development is one thing, but when we talk about human capital, okay, how does capital, the word capital, fit into that phrase there? So what does it mean, if you can help with or understand human capital development? Because is it a matter of how much value we place on the on people, or how much we get for improve the economic as well as the intellectual capacity of people? So can you just break that down for we know what that means?
Okay, now I know say me control an economics man, right? And I know say a lot of people basic O-level economics. When you talk about economics, you talk of the factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, right? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So with this human capital development, I think it's a combination of the three. One, you talk about the entrepreneur. Yeah. You talk about labor. Those two, the combination of the two, the entrepreneur and the labor. So labor and the human now means production. And again, what would they use then term here? They look very big. Human capital development. For that broken for you, because we're for going at the government in manifesto. When they talk about human capital development in transport, in the context of transport is almost 80 to 90% labor intensive. Right. Let we look at the transport side. You talk about from the man way na the vulcanizer, then at the one way they way for make you tire. To the driver, to the even the apprentice, na the vehicle if na the loader if na freight vehicle. All the one na the combination of people them way responsible for provide transport for we. So that's the human capital, because it's so how do you develop the people them? Because when we talk education, it links to we education. Under the last minute, we get free quality education, FQE. We then in the formal education. We also then get this situation where now we get a competition for every district or every region, one university. There was polytechnics. The polytechnics them, they don't begin convert them to university. So if for me, the president in Big Five agenda, for me, when you talk about human capital development, even within the transport concept, you get to talk about what I will call technical and vocational education. So the key question we ask, we continue for build universities them or create university for give them cause them like social services, very important. There are lots of traumatized people, but how many social services people do we train? We get courses like peace and conflict studies. How many peace and conflict brokers them or mediators do we need? But when we remember those days, we been get trade center na Kisi, we been get trade center na Kenema. Remember we been get center na Bo. Then you been get an OIC, Opportunities Industrialization Center. So because transport is people of the informal sector, because like in a salon where somebody not the pambook, then say like go be apprentice. So you see that informal sector, so the man they go first, it go be in a park where they load vehicle, then it graduates to apprentice, then from this now it graduates to driver, then from driver in aspiration now for own your vehicle for be operator. So that's them. How do you formalize it? How do you provide technical education for people then? How do we maintain our vehicles then? Right? Do we have enough mechanics? Will they bring 50 buses then come? I will talk about that. For this new under this government public transportation. I can tell you, say, as far as even yesterday, because I'm involved in it, we've been going for send some of we Sierra Leoneans then, go Côte d'Ivoire for go train as mechanic, right? Because then get us in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. For go under 1 week training for acquire skills, so then say go come back for can train other mechanic for maintain the bus system. And not only that, we get for look at that then are just one of, but the system what they use for make sure say drivers and be very important. I give England one day, I don't know in the transport sector. A trained driver, which is a professional, earns more than a university professor. Bus driving in England, I'm sure it's the same in America. It's a professional course. You get for go do training. The average bus driver in England earns about 400 to 450 pounds a week. It's a profession. But we now, most Sierra Leoneans now, we talk about diaspora investment. A lot of people are not investing in the transport and they say, okay, let buy poda or buy taxi, give me brother. Let them go on. We don't know other person they trade. We want to get money. Right? We don't get enough mechanics them for operators. So for me, now then the government for focus on that technical education, moving from the informal to the formal and get a hierarchy. Like where you start from apprentice, you get training, like in England, they may get courses the way they call NVQ, National Vocational Qualification. In Sierra Leone, when they follow the British system, we will get city and guilds. Now that will be the use. So if you want to do the technical course, you get city and guilds 1, city and guilds 2, then you get FTC, full technological certificate. Why we not develop that system there again for get skilled mechanics, skilled drivers, skilled transport entrepreneurs? Now that I want to see. Until we develop that in transport, because transport, if you look at employs more people than even agriculture. So I left down there, and if you want to get further question, I will let you answer.
Well, I think we can. I don't have a question per se in this respect, but I think we can go to the next thing. When have we dealt with the supply chain? But hold 1 second. Make me take a call, and then we'll go back to what I was asking. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where's the call from?
Hello, Mr. Shilo. This is Umar the call.
Yes, go ahead.
You see, most of them think they are we left with your local people. Why governments for take people for care and go to Côte d'Ivoire? We get professional mechanics in Sierra Leone. Why government not for pay or enough for invest on these local people we get for train we young people and for manage boss? Why we need for send people and go Côte d'Ivoire? Na Kenema Eastern Polytechnic every year, then they get most of the local mechanics. They take them go, then they for make them know how for operate the machines, how for service bikes and motor cars. Then now Freetown we get technical by Congo Cross. Why government for spend money again for take people and for go there? You see now most of the thing and most of the time they get something there, but we need to respect yourself. It's high time we start for empower we local people. We get a lot of garage. What do we need for do? Let we empower them people and they let them teach
Okay,
them people and
Mr.
they.
Omar, sorry
Then
for
once again
interrupting.
about the
No, Mr. Omar, sorry for interrupting you. Let's just clarify it. The
yes, sir.
buses then where they come, they are for particular make and particular engine, right? Now buses then are Ashok Leyland, we not this saloon at the moment. The people that way go Cote d'Ivoire, now part of the project direction, not to government funding. This was an agreement. Then they get observe how them bus and they operate in Cote d'Ivoire, how they maintain now for the, so then they will get the right skills there for can train other Sierra Leoneans and so go develop a training program for mechanics we're going to maintain the buses. Now that makes Sudan they happen. Not so because we not
Okay.
we own mechanics.
Okay, yeah, I well accepted them. Okay. Then one thing again, when una they talk again, we're very vital at this whole conversation again. Now the apprenticeship system. You see, like I just the talk, we get mechanics there in that country, but the problem when you left school, you say you go to apprenticeship. Most of the apprenticeship no get nothing again for do with schooling. So all waiting they go concentrate on the practical. So waiting the government for do now at least I do an apprenticeship. We say idea. When Akanaya, after I don't sit back, when Akanaya, because of the jam, I'm able to continue. Now, apprenticeship I do. We get 4 days you go school, and sorry, you do the practical. Then 1 day you go school. That 1 day where you go school, that for teach you mathematics and teach you how for read plan, then and teach you the your moral ethics the way and get now how for live with people, how for obey, how for respect laws, what he for do, what he not for do. So most of them thing the government for come with them plan and they at least if somebody don't left school, he want go do apprenticeship, let him not forget about it. Let them try to put them people in it together. Say okay, no problem. If you want go do apprenticeship, the basic of any apprenticeship in mathematics. At least if we able calculate from 1 to 2, if we able, at least if we able convert inches to feet. If you know able to do that you don't lose. So what in the government know, we don't say the apprenticeship you already did as alone, but now that local way therefore try for modernize them and try for say okay no problem you can still go to apprenticeship, but let you get 1 day or 2 days, let you go to at least if not civic education and mathematics in school. I think say that one day go be more better for we in that country. But the government they can just like what in that other man talk, then they talk no what they feel for talk, but they do what in they want to do, because the last time they talk about apprenticeship scheme, me or a lot of people we glad in because we don't can see that now and we see how they benefit. And Mr. Mengo talks something about drivers. If I tell you what a carpenter or what a masonry they get a week, believe me, all the doctors and all the lawyers the way they fit for go college, they go on for go to apprenticeship. Because why? The system don't make an say. If you want to do an apprenticeship, at least you go there in more comfortable like anybody in a lawyer or any other profession. Now that we people have to realize say if you be a carpenter or you be a masonry or you be a teacher, you're not a loser. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Omar. We appreciate that. Let me take another call. Hello, caller. What you know your name? Say the call from. Hello, caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Mr. Shilon, Mr. Mengo, good evening. Abdul Kofi.
Hello, Abdul. Welcome.
Yeah, I just want
You get any instrument, but you get anything like radio or TV where they on because there is some slight echo.
No, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
But it is, yeah. As I rightly mentioned, the human capital development in the president statement manifesto. The first time and this week people at the second time. There are so many. Okay, yes, we will commend them for the way, though, for the ambitious project to get this human capital development. But there are so many lapses and things the way we're supposed to do as a nation if one let it succeed. I just go both in with the post-secondary school year, where some of the other this recent school I don't talk about the TVET program where the government don't plan, team don't plan, whether we get TVET. Okay, when the 63 first education starts, then we get this NCTVA where they do, NVQ, National Vocational Qualification. Then get this TVET we need to then can plan for do. This is a good thing. This TVET because I see recently where the military themselves get a college. The Sierra Leone military now, after that Juba, then get that. Where they will do interior design, heating and cooling, plumbing, some of them things, and motor mechanics, they will do one. So if I think where they will replicate now most districts then, at least I think Freetown technical institute, they don't be polytechnic now. Government for concentrate on them middle level manpower because so far the transformation where they need for transform some of them college and lead to university. I don't think so in Yoruba because like what you rightly mentioned, the graduation last week of my college law school. They don't get a 19 picking them graduates from law. Then they wonder for my law school alone. They don't get a 19. I watch the program. It is too much for a country like Sierra Leone. I mean, we need the middle level. We need radiographer, technicians. You know that the area that they were there will deal with the area not get. But again, now the ministry therefore conscientize schools and parents and say, not so far to go through that grammar school form of education where you want to be lawyer, you want to be doctor, you want to be an accountant, and then the only things that they don't want to make like benefits are like. Now I was already associate degree and we're teaching the best 3 years, 1 year, 6 months, but more you do practical. Government will not conceive of the not plan and say the TVET program where they will get TVET institutions in every district. Some districts and they, depending on the population of the district, they forget them 2 or 3 TVET institutions and they will help picking them. And let them conscientize parents as well as the picking and say, they need to level jobs, they need to level training that they will get. That still will benefit them. So not to pass necessarily the people who read accountants, you want to read accounting. You don't even at the computer field, you get them associate degree will get as a computer engineer. So that's a specialist. We just 3 years, we will do. Then you go for field instead of go do 4 year program. But more the concentration for be on the practicality of them here. And we don't say the beginning, if you never know they care, say they will that TVET program, they will just say 2 and 30% will be theory and 70% will be practical. Well, a very good thing. So between something not good academically, but with 70% practical, very good or do things with your hand, if you're able to do something beneficial. But because they concentrate too much on the higher education, they make all the institutions university. And we don't get 16%, we don't even get up to 20% of PhD holders. Before they transform a college to a university, at least we forget about them 60 to 70% of PhD holders. But we know the whole of Sierra Leone, now just 16% of PhD holders when they run with so-called universities. So it is far below. It is far below the academic requisite for your faculty members. So it is far below. So the government will concentrate on the TVET program. Here we make sure say if even one concentrate on university courses, we don't get the manpower because we still lack the manpower. The manpower is a problem for you. And therefore, so ways and means to attract that policy. When people that would teach online, people that would do that this part of the world and teach teaching the way that the university in Rwanda. Because that was the only way we would have been able to come that migration of qualified Seralians and where they are the last one. So I believe that something like that the government will be very concentrated for program, make sure say 70% of the teachings let it be teachings let be practical and 30% be theory. By so doing and make sure they conscientize, they don't sensitize to in our school state. Then they get radio program, television program, sensitize to and say, not only that you do, you have to be a lawyer, you have to be law, you have to be an accountant, or a medical doctor in local food. You can do them a middle level manpower training and they will be able to make let independent life for yourself and for the community as possible.
Thank you very much, Abdul. We appreciate that. As always, you always make meaningful contribution to the discussion we'll get. We'll go back to Mr. Mengot. Of course, I always get some slight, in fact, sometimes you would think, say, then seeing away some of with the chalkboard. You just wonder, like we say, watching at this haste, watching at this desire, watching at this urge, what we want for open university. And what is the end game? I'm missing something. Why aren't the people and when they come up with universities here, like we say, why aren't they coming up with mid-level occupational institutions then? We go fill the gap. For example, we all know, particularly a lot of the diasporans in the United States. I say that with no disrespect, but we we're accustomed to a certain level or certain quality of life. Now, when you go back home, you want to try for replicate or do as much. If you do bills back home, you want to try for do almost as much of the type of dwelling where you live now in the United States. You want to put all the fixtures and amenities them where you get now. And not forget, say some of the amenities here are not restricted to the United States, but on technology, the development of equipment that are exported worldwide. But certain instruments or equipment, then they you want to put in yours. You're not going to be able to put in yours in Australia because there are no mid-level, highly trained technicians then who may have seen it before. Or where if the nursing themselves, they don't know how to do it because they don't go technical school or polytechnic schools them. And the very politicians, the lawyers, the doctors, the engineers, the professors, the wealthy people that want to live that high, comfortable living there, we not get the wherewithal with people that never want for you. Take, for instance, how many houses, nice, structured, well-built, well-designed houses back in Sierra Leone? Using Freetown as an example, but I think it's the entire country. Where you don't build your house, you get to go buy plastic tank for put up and build your own tank, and then get a water pump for pump the water because you want water pressure, because the water not come with pressure. Well, how many of you in America here would experience that anywhere? It's non-existent. And we not get a private water tank. We not get water pump for great water pressure. So if it can work without water tank and pumping machine for great water pressure, why we not go able to do an Australia at the same basic principle? You know, I mean, I don't know that much about science, but I know say the principle of gravity applies. If gravity works in the United States, why can't it work in Sierra Leone? But yet, people have to go through the extraordinary expenses there for build a tower, for buy a tank, and still you may not be able to get, and then spend extra money on pumping machine, and sometimes for dig well. So instead of we try to develop even the lifestyle we want to live, we can only live that lifestyle if we provide the facility, the wherewithal for train enough people and for and give you that quality of life. Unless a lawyer wants for being your mechanic, unless a lawyer wants for being your plumber, unless a lawyer wants for being your mason, unless a doctor, or unless the politicians, they would have set the policies. You know, who want the nice host, who want for drive, then at the nicest compound. But then, waiting for good that quality of life, they would not seem interested in developing it. That's one of the ironies of all which happen in our country. So my thing is, waiting at this overwhelming desire. It could be nice if people then could call the show and probably maybe we're missing something, and people are welcome to call. I mean, the academicians, them, now the various universities, waiting the advantage or the advantages in having more universities. The one that what we get will not develop them to the highest level of quality what we need for running a university, for give people the requisite education what they deserve. We say we build everything, we build more, and then the existing one them we try for turn them into. It almost reminds me where we try for turn townships, you know, into cities. In the United States, I'm sure in Canada, in Australia, there are major towns that do not have the statushood of city. They're not referred to as city. You know, where I live in the United States, which has everything you can ever imagine, the city, the town where I live, is not referred to as a city. It's referred to as a town. And it's 10 times more developed than Freetown. Okay? But, you know, we gravitate towards this name, this anglicization, just big name thing. We want, you know, city of Kono, city of this. No disrespect meant. But will we be doing better for the people then if we begin to deal with infrastructure? Then when the township gets to a certain point where it begin to attract people for come and live, and you broaden your tax base, then at some point it will become a city. But now when I lived in Bo for 9 years, Bo was never referred to as a city, big as Bo was. You know, Bo, it was referred to as a township, or we would say Botown. But now politics, you know, and wrong politics don't create so much misconceptions. We are more into the names, the titles. You know, you want big name, Alhaji, former ambassador, this, that. Then for all call 5 titles before they reach your name. What is all this about? What is wrong with just Mr. and Mrs.? You know, or Miss? You see, when you spend so much time on platitudes, we not concentrate on substance. And we see more and more of this. We're splashing honorary degrees to all types of people for the wrong reason. I mean, we are doing a great disservice to the country. I do not understand some of them here. But I strongly encourage, if somebody like me sound like I'm criticizing, and you get a strong conviction that you guys are right, we're wrong, you're welcome to the show. Tell we where we're misguided. Tell we where we're wrong. But we try for just redirect, focus, attention, so the country can really benefit from knowledge, you know, from training, from expertise. This night, we can't forget to redirect the country to the right thing. The big sounding name will get certain people in where they try to get 3-4 master's degree. Well, if you get one, let's see what you can do with the one before you get a need for 2 or 3. But if you get one, you know to do anything, you know to produce nothing, you go get 2. So all you're interested in are for show off. Put diplomas or certificates on the wall, you know. So these are some of the things we really have to try to run away from. I'm a lawyer. I should have been proud that our country don't get the economic status whereby we can able to produce almost 350 lawyers a year. But what do lawyers actually contribute to the overall economic well-being of the country? What do we? What do we do? What do we produce? How aren't we excess or what you could call dead weight on the system if you continue to produce that large number? Such an imbalance. Whereas if we get engineers them and doctors them, that will take we into another direction. We'll go for a begin for rethink them thing and then we'll policy people. But let's, before we run out of time, Mr. Mengot, I think we can move to the next topic that we had mentioned that we wanted to address within the context of this big five and as it dovetails with transportation. So can you take us to the next one, please?
Okay, Mr. Shilon, thank you very much. The next key area, when number 3, it relates to the first one. The last one will do human capital development because it's the big 5 now youth employment. Youth employment. According to the United Nations definition of youth, now anybody where they between the ages of 18 and 35, then a youth. So if we want to create youth employment, let's start first see how that can be done. And I will put that in context because me can say my own profession where there usai a day, and I will go back for relate my own experience. The transport sector now employ the largest amount of youths in the country. It might surprise you when I say that, right? Okada, for them when we don't take commercial alone, the diaspora, what do they call Okada? The motorcycle and commercial motorcycle. There was a time when the president of the Okada Union say they can get 1.6 million young people. 1.6 million where they operate Okada. That is it. About 1.6 million. So if you take 1.6 million, it's more than 10% with population. Then Okada. Then you get the 3-wheel. You get the keke. He did it. You get the one they win and maintenance. So what I'm going to say now, how do we create youth employment in the transport sector? We are talking about, again, what I'm saying, moving from the informal to the formal. Okay, how is it done? It comes back to some of me experience them in governance and parliament. And I'll give you the reason why. I will give me an example. Parliament's not in the make law. And when parliament make law, all I will say the role of we parliamentarians is threefold. Like this, we don't talk and say this government policy on transport. We expect parliament for see benefits with people them and see how they cause economic growth. Also in a parliament, they review law them. When they make law, then they review law. Also, parliament, then they serve as oversight to the main department. And one of the people who get our country, we get beaucoup law them. So no, we are not devolved of laws. We get some of the most brilliant law them, although some ancient. For you now lawyer now, you go know when I hear some law the way they talk about colonial law, a 19-something lasting act. When I think the way they adopt system. And we'll get a law reform commission. So what I'm saying, based on my experience working in the UK in the Parliament, and when we they make law in the country, we they make law and we relate the law is to one, two, who are the losers. The winners they get for Bokupas the losers. 3, how much does it cost to implement that law, whether regulation. So, first of all, lawlessness is prevalent in the trust industry within UTR. But also we can use the law in a positive way for create employment if we apply them for the sector. And I'll tell you why and how it could be done. We get law that will country we say every year get for go test it means say then get for go test them for see say it mechanically fit for operate. So if we operate that system, they think what do we do? First now government they do them. Now then give the monopoly to the private sector. Probably you can tell me now America in England, the system will get government license private garages them all over England. Even near also Adeso. I get 2 or 3 garages that we put notice say. Then they do vehicle roadworthiness tests. So if we get private garages there, we meant license all over the country, in the 16 districts, then a link to what we've been talking about the future development, create polytechnic and trade center where you train mechanics. Think about how much great in terms of mechanics for do that. So not the one that will test the vehicle. Before you carry your vehicle, you go test. Because if the vehicle fail, you get for pay for let them repair and then test it. Don't carry and go to another. We go so that you go past 110. So with a system like that in Sierra Leone, with all certainty, overnight, giving the training facilities will go put the trade center them, the apprenticeship, the garage they will go license for the student test here. We can employ well over 10,000 youths then. So you get for make law, where they enforce the law, for create employment and get the youths here there engaged. And I feel to say the transport sector then can absorb them. Even when you talk to back to the previous one we talk, the feed salon, you move people them, then goods them for farm to you need transport use. Now we see say now Okada then they use motorcycle they transport all kinds of coal. I don't see motorcycle where they transport even people. So how come we get appropriate transport for the good market and employ the youth them? So this is how the transport sector can contribute to youth employment. So now the suggestion that I give, I left you if you want to ask question or you want to rub much per which I don't see so far, Mr. Shilon.
No, I think we'll greatly appreciate because, like I say, we'll get which in you might say talk is cheap. Because we'll keep hearing youth unemployment, or youth unemployment, but we'll get to come up with solutions. You know, how do we keep the youth busy? And I'm glad you give me this classification or as to what constitutes youth. I think you said between the ages of 18 and 32 or something in the low 30s. You know, okay, mid 30s. So that's pretty good because sometimes when we begin to talk about youth, one does not ordinarily start thinking about people in their 30s. You probably the thing say now much younger people than that. But this is a wide range of people where government for just not to use the phrase youth unemployment, it's for actually determine the and in our country right now, well, we're not so good with statistics, but most countries are not as that good. But it could be good for let we know, waiting at the actual statistical evidence we get with respect to how many people or youths we say unemployed or are employed. I'm not sure. I will probably get the statistics for that. But some of the things that we don't outline, you know, the interconnection between the Okada operator, you know, and the employment of youths. I think that that's pretty interesting. Although I doubt very much, maybe it's just in my mind, I'm not able to process it as to how could Okada then get as much as 1.6 million people? Because let's don't forget, our members, let's don't forget, after Freetown, yeah, there are Okadas in Bo and Kenema, maybe McKinney, but they are not that many. They have, you watch YouTube, people who drive up country, you don't see anything anywhere close, not even close to what you see in Freetown. So unless the membership or of the Okada Association, or unless then the Tribe Hotel we say they get actual statistical evidence for say they will have as many as 1.6 members. That's a large number of people. And when we start thinking about just because if you, I will assume say the 1.6 members, 80 or 90% will be in the Western area, in the Freetown Western area. So if you take away all the Okada people and say just for purposes of illustration, I think Freetown will be empty, But I have the feeling, I think it's exaggerated because we're not too good at keeping statistics. But these are important information we need to have to get close to accuracy. Because if we not keep, and these are some of the things then what we need for the address. Statistics is important in everything we do in life as an organization or as a group or as a country or as a community, So, but how much of this employment or engagement of Okada drivers, how much of this government they harness in terms of taxation or taxes, or how much of this government and the tribe, why I say taxes, I mean driver's license and vehicles license and so many other things. If we keep the youth, if we forget that many youths are supposed to be engaged, but this takes us back to the same thing we talk about. So not everybody will be lawyer and doctor. So if we get one industry, we get as many as 1.6. Think for a moment. If almost employment, they in turn will create to use them. If they are used there, then we get mid-level training in plumbing, in carpentry, in masonry, and so many other things. Instead of getting all the youths here to go IPAM, Frabe College, Jala, University of McKinney, University of Longshore, University of Cornell. I mean, these are all good sounding things, but are they really helping the country as a whole? Are they helping the region? We don't talk about trade centers. We do know there were lots. By now, we should have had more, maybe quadruple the number of trade centers than what they exist where we grow up. You get trade center at the Longshore area. I have an older brother who attended that school and turned out to be one of the best refrigeration engineer the country has ever produced. Okay? Go study engineering na any big university, but he was, in fact, I rate him as the best the country had ever produced. I'm just not saying it because I'm a brother. But so we really, so for the talk, then talk here, we need for really start for put some meat to the bone. Not just come up with then phrases there, but then we'll get plan how to achieve them. So that said, I go back to you, Mr. Mango. What unless you get something else to say?
No, no, I don't think so. I think say we are coming close to we get 2 more areas of
we can
the
cover.
Big 5 agenda. Yeah. So the next one we'll talk about technology and infrastructure. But before we go to that, as usual, there is a call line.
No, there is no call.
No, then they asked if we can take one more call. I think if you check.
I think we can take more than one. Yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, you can give the prompt.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, call, please.
Yeah, Mr. Shinan, I'll be beginning the call.
All right.
Yeah, I just
Go ahead, please.
I just want to understand this: the youth and employment and the education, because I see there is a synergy between the youth employment and education. Then perhaps the question we will want to ask yourself and so forth: are the youth employable? Because the government, the president is saying we're able to provide 500,000 jobs for the youth in the next 5 years. Are they employed? So waiting are the modalities where they don't put in place now for making their youth here, those that they are churning out of universities and other colleges, for let them be employable, and waiting are the requisite qualifications where they forget for making let them be employable. Are they doing the courses that are employable? These are some of the questions where I believe the government officials and perhaps we Sierra Leoneans for the ask yourself, are they doing the requisite courses at the middle level of manpower jobs the way we only mention, where they are there, the youth can even create jobs for themselves and be employers, employing others. So we for the ask yourself then question, and government, what is government's role? Within the enabling environment with government they put in place to attract investors? Are they taxing these investors, the intending investors? Are they taxing them too much? That so much so that then they run away from investing in Sierra Leone? Is the business climate conducive for them? What about our laws, our legal systems? Can they run to the judiciary to go seek redress if at all the business there is an infringement in the business? So all of them things are now for the think about. Then one advice we be able to give government is yes, it's fine for let we get to universities, but you want to create universities in every region and so every district. But if you think about the faculty, the lecturers, because whenever you don't put the name university, you forget more PhD holders than those without PhD, masters or bachelors. You forget more PhD holders than masters or bachelor holders, because you don't go expect somebody to go do a master's and a master's holder and they go teacher. Then you will create that psychological way in the person himself. So government will think about that. And I believe that the president they listen to this program. When you go to ECOWAS now, suggest them that the ECOWAS meeting that ECOWAS member countries members, ECOWAS member citizens, we want to attend public universities. Now, any of the ECOWAS member countries, let it be the same thing where the member, the person within the country, they pay as fees at the universities, and they let an ECOWAS. So, for example, if I want to come on a year now, that's the idea that I'm going to study now, Unilag, University of Lagos and Nigeria, if not when a public university, I will take same amount where Nigeria they pay. If they're able to implement that na the ECOWAS, then we will able to get beaucoup Sierra Leoneans we will go do postgraduate courses at the ECOWAS member states, and they will be able to empower themselves to come ready for go teach at the university there where will they get to. I think that's one big thing, and secondly, Mr. Mengo, some months back, we suggest let government get a database of qualified Sierra Leoneans where they were able to tap the services and knowledge of them Sierra Leoneans and the diaspora who will not say causes that are there in Sierra Leone when Sierra Leoneans will not get lecturers themselves. Let the person teach them through Zoom, teach them through Microsoft Teams, teach them through even this you WhatsApp, you're able to teach beginning and under. Because now we they give you contributions, not to say that money you go and do, but you just want to make your own contributions to nation building or for let the country develop. As to say that some things and then the government said for the thing, but let the president talk, suggest that now ECOWAS high-power meeting say let ECOWAS member state citizens let them pay the same amount of public university now any as ECOWAS member country. Then you go see that will go for boost education at the sub-region as sub-sofa. Now, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll get some other calls. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Shilon. Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Me, Ahmed. I call from UK.
Go ahead, Ahmed.
Yes. Thank you once again. You know, the issue I want to really support me, the last speaker, my brother, what he try for highlights. What it catch my attention by the whole program is this human development or youth employment or stuff. We don't see what is the president campaign and what he promised for 500,000 jobs. But before this time, the first 5 years, you see also how he promised both employment and stuff or that not materialized. So like what you say and what you the commentary people they make previously when they mentioned about the transport, a lot of people become skeptical over the success of this thing, because the thing is you can't blame these people actually. It's what they don't see, from the start of the whole thing. So make some people don't conclude now. Because I don't want for going to that transport system again, because it takes a lot for us to achieve that. Because we are, even if we talk of agriculture production, if you don't get light system, and some of these goods are perishable goods, if you don't get farmers there, we know commercial farming, we know about tractors, we for able get power tillers, you get, a lot of things entails. We will not see that. We will not see the starting. Anyway, we can look at certain area, way for develop the youth there, where an officer, this particular regime will able to achieve that. Before this time in 1995, I've been in school, I've been in junior school or stuff. But when I finish high school, when I can't do my HCC, when I study, I can't realize, say, in Africa of 1995, they can adopt what they call the 634 system. We cut across. We start from the East Africa up to West Africa. They implement it. I think by then are the junta rule or so. But we come study education and train as teachers. We get to realize, understand all of the aspects of training the young ones there, because just after the war, we see a lot of young ones, the way they may disarm, come and try to put it into the society so that you go back to school. But again, if they don't meet up for get that cognitive aspect, go to university like some of us did, then we'll go for land trade. They call that education for complete living. So in a sense, now make the car with them, even try actually car with their institutions there. Before that, actually the trade center, technical, na Congo cross. They get other people like Moralo after the war. Then Losar Moralo, they relocate now locals. Now very close to Usabi live. I get some friends them when I will be do sciences, but them in too good. Some of them can do electrical engineering and stuff. Then instead of going to FBC, they come and sign it. Most of them guys and they work together, they electrical Canada now we call them electrical and sign because they're so powerful because they bond out the father them so they find they stick to that science area and the chemistry and the physics. So what we did in science, the guys they prove well actually this guy and they end up getting that career quickly. Some of you by the time I finish my ATC and start for teach at the early age 21, 22 and go Najala, go do further studies. These guys already they don't get even secure jobs because they do pure practical. So now that the education we really call for that if you fail you beke, you can go for this technical 1 or 2 things, you 10 times. When you don't fail again second time, it means cognitively you're not too strong. But they can direct you into other areas, the domains that we able to do. So now that they use them, but today, they just kill the sectors there. How do you use them? Then you see one make farming, you want to develop this, then you want guys there. How are you able to train them? For me, they really for me, they able know how for operation of this structure, how for do food processing, how are you able to direct into them other sectors that will be able to give them, job, what we call education for complete living, so that you're able to do things on their own. So even government should employ them, then we even open private sectors then they develop themselves. You can remember when we come to school, some of them come, we go join the regular way they academy, some of them now they teach, they admire we, but they even develop them. Now when they did they disarm them, they begin to train them, they even give them money for me then go set up some, small scale stuff them, but now they don't take that part there again. Now that make all of these drugs can kill the youth then, there's small things there can cause problem with the young ones and they're not able. So how you will develop a community? Well, largely the young ones, they don't even take career then, let's say masoning, then do architecture, then do carpentry. All of these sectors have they operate. But now they just talk of PhD, degrees, graduates. Look how many lawyers they graduate. Where are the bars? Where you say they go practice the law? Also can't thief and so we don't really get focused on where we want to divert the youth them. Or maybe they able to come get some, maybe they able to train something where we say self-sufficiency. What we call that this Tanzania or the East Africa in theory, now if don't come into play, but we're not able to cope with that. I don't understand. How comes then why they can't spend in education and they left the youth, they look at them today. Some of them guys are they go up to high school, they finish high school, but you don't even get the facility for me to continue. So the dynamic they drop up on school, but they for still create some way for them. For make them learn some of the institutions there. We be for be cheaper for them because see when they commodity, they will become self-sufficient on their own rather than taking drugs or do other things. So for me, I see I'm very tough actually with this regime if they able to achieve all of this human capital development.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Thank you very much. I don't hear the gong. We don't hear what you say. I think we very much come towards the end of the program now. We appreciate what you say. We don't give 3 gongs. But then before Mr. Shillong come, let's read one of the things where one of we call it and say, he said, one hopes that government functionaries are taking note of the contribution by those who have sent commentaries because it will go in some way if promoting the so-called Big Five agenda. Thank you very much for all that said, Andy. We know so we were in this program, not to every comment we see, and we hope some government people and they listen to what they say. And we're there for profess solution. We're not there for just criticize. Although you get some people in here where they talk about, they use some language where we not associate ourselves with. But people are entitled to their opinion. But let them be respectful to individuals, to government, to our state functionaries. That's 2 parts of the agenda. You will talk to them later on when a technology and actually revamping the public service. Technology a lot. The only 2 I will comment at this time, with technology, we know this is not modern technology. And for me, especially with one of the callers they say, where I go endorse, now this idea for improve information and communication technology, remote learning, we talk about tariffs. So I don't a very small country. Let's get means of getting access to information and communication technology. So when one way where people them from the diaspora go able to give skills exchange, we teach people them, give a contribution back. And for all this to happen, it come back to the last one, when how public sector for reform, the government get for work for we, not by creating so many ministries, departments and agencies, presidential advisors. And by the way, the president don't get somebody when a youth employment advisor. We don't know what in that person they go do. Because the person when the youth employment advisor, before they get that job, they be minister of labor. The idea for say, we forget we young people them and train them and mind them for let them go do domestic work overseas na the Arab country all and they. For me, I think say it's a modern day of slavery. So now that no more okay for say for now because we don't come towards the end. So now I pass over to me co-host, Mr. Shilon, and if he's get anything for say, because we don't almost exhaust the time, but we will continue the topic here, and also we hope the government will listen and then go take note of some of when over to you, sir.
Okay, let me just inquire. Is there a caller on the line? Hello, caller.
Yeah, forget the caller here.
What's your name? Where you call from? Hello, caller. No more callers? Okay. Yeah, we are at the end of the program. As usual, time flies when you're having fun. And for me, I can't speak for Mr. Menger, but I assume the same applies. We have a lot of fun just bringing this program week after week or Sunday after Sunday, and a lot of fun having people calling in, listening in, and writing in, sending information. So we always enjoy the program. And in so doing, time flies, and before you know it, one moment we're at the beginning, the next thing you know, we're almost at the end or at the end. So this today is no exception. So we thank Una for listening. We thank Una for tuning in. We thank Una for making a contribution. As usual, we look forward to listening to Una again. And Una self listening to us next Sunday. Until then, let me say goodbye and good evening. And of course, depending on where you are, whatever time of the day, afternoon or morning. Thank you so much.